Hello, and this is Jay Leon. Welcome back to Beginning Sailboat Racing. And today we're going to be talking about starting. Yeah, starting is the probably the hardest part about sailboat racing, and correspondingly the most exciting. And so I'm going to try to talk just about the absolute basics of starting. There are many advanced discussions that we'll just skip here, but for today we're just going to talk about the absolute basics. So the starting line is always perpendicular to the wind. So if we have the wind blowing down from the top of the page there, the starting line is generally an imaginary line in between a committee boat, we'll call that race committee boat there, and a buoy. And the line is an imaginary line in between that buoy, and there's generally a flag on the committee boat. In some cases they'll just have two marks if it's super informal racing. And the idea is that there is a timed countdown, and no one can go across this line before the countdown gets to 0. And so everybody before the start must be on this side of the line, and can't go across the line until the gun goes off. And depending on where you sail, there might be a number of different traditions about how they do the countdown. In some very informal kind of practice type races, the countdown is actually performed by a series of sound signals so that you can do the countdown without having your own watch. And in that case, it usually starts off with a 3 long horns, beep, 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 signifying 3 minutes. And then after that there'll be 2 longs for 2 minutes, and then 1 long for 1 minute, and then 3 shorts for 30 seconds, and then 2 shorts for 20 seconds, and then 1 short for 10 seconds. And then oftentimes it'll go, the last 5 seconds will go beep, 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 bah, and that's the start. And that's a good way for informal races to be run without everybody having to have their own watch. There are many other ways to do it. In a more formalized setting, you'll have a thing at 5 minutes. They'll put up the class flag and make a sound signal, and then at 4 minutes they'll put up a pennant that looks like this, and then nothing will happen between 4 minutes and 1 minute, and at 1 minute they'll take down that pennant and make a sound signal, and then at the start they will make a sound signal. So it would go beep and put up the class flag at 5 minutes, go beep at 4 minutes and put up this pennant, and then at 1 minute it would say beep and take down that pennant, and then at the start there would be a beep. Now at the start, if there's a second beep, so there's a bap that says start, if that's followed by another horn, that means somebody was over early, and then they'll put up a flag that looks like this. It's got a cross in it, and if you hear a second sound signal and you think you might have been over early, you look back and you see that flag, you know that somebody was over early. It might have been you. Sometimes they'll hail your number and sometimes they won't. And then you have to go back below the line and start over again, and they'll take down the flag when all of the people who were over early were corrected themselves. If there's a third signal, start, then another one, and then another one, that is a general recall. And they'll put up a flag that looks like this. And that means that we're going to just start, everybody's just going to start over. Yeah, because there were too many people over early. Okay, so there's various different ways to do the countdown. Everybody has to be on this side of the line before the start, and then the start goes off. If anybody's over early, they can be called back with one of these methods. Now, when you're first starting out in sailboat racing, the main objective at the start is just to not foul anybody and don't embarrass yourself. And so that's easier said than done, because all the boats that are going to be in the race are going to be going back and forth right here along the starting line, trying to figure out where they're going to start and so on. And then right with somewhere around the last minute or maybe 30 seconds, everybody's going to start to line up by the line, below the line, and everybody's going to be on starboard. And there's a reason, because as we talked about before, starboard has the right of way over port. And so everybody is going to want to be on starboard. If there was a boat on port in here, they would have to avoid all of the boats on starboard. So everybody is going to want to be on starboard before the start. And so at somewhere between a minute and 30 seconds to go, you're going to want to get lined up with these other boats on starboard. And generally you're going to want to have your sail out so you're not going too fast, because you don't want to just zoom across the line before the start. And the trick here is to find a place in the line where there's enough room for you, and you can let your sail luff, let it out so you're not going very fast and your sail's just flapping in the wind or luffing, and you're just lined up with the other boats. And here you want to be not too far behind and not too far ahead any of the other boats, so you can kind of pull your sail in or let it out, or pull it in and let it out, so that you kind of stay even with the other boats. And everybody will kind of inch up towards the line as those last seconds are ticking away. And then depending on your type of boat, you'll, if it's a really lightweight boat like a laser or whatnot, you can wait till the last 5 seconds to sheet in and go. If it's a little bit heavier boat, you might sheet in at 10 seconds or maybe even 15 seconds. But all of the people in your race, if they've all got the same kind of boat, they're all going to kind of sheet in at the same time, sometime between 15 seconds and 5 seconds. And so you get lined up with the other boats, have your boat turned so it's on starboard, let the sail out so you're going slowly, and then at the last 5 to 10 seconds, pull your sail in and go across the line as the gun goes off. So that is generally what it takes to start the race.